Hello everybody, Tom Kaps from Flock Free here today. I wanted to cover a very basic subject today. One of the easiest things to do as a pest control guy or someone new or even a homeowner is to keep birds off of surfaces using gel and UV paint. Now over the years, gel's gotten a bad rep. People put it on too heavy, they put it on wrong, and it is a great tool if you do it correctly. So today I'm going to show you a little bit of how to do it correctly. So typically when you buy a tube of gel, they tell you to put it on like this, a zigzag motion. And that's actually wrong, because what happens is you only get about 10 feet of product if you apply it that way, and the gel will settle down, it'll collect dirt, doesn't look good, birds get stuck on it, and this is the pattern that you've been taught to do, because quite frankly it sells more gel. It's not the effective way of doing it. So the idea with gel is supposed to be a contact irritant. And most of the birds that you're dealing with in these situations are cliff-dwelling birds or birds that live in trees. So you don't have to have this really heavy-duty polyethylene sticky stuff that's been sold for years. You just need something that's slightly irritating to the feet as far as stickiness goes, and you want to give it a visual aspect too. You don't want the birds to get the gel on them at all. And you would never use gel for a seagull or a duck or something, because they're used to running around in the muck and mud anyway. So that little bit of gel on their feet is not going to bother them at all. So let me show you the correct way of putting gel on. So we have oat gel. It's a Surface Pro gel. It's all natural. It's tacky, but it won't get on the bird's wings or hurt them in any way. And then we also have our UV paint. In this case, I put the bright white dauber. And what we do is shake this up before you use it. But the correct way of putting gel on is you would take your tube, put it in your gun, and you would apply dots every 3 inches. So I'm going to simulate that with a magic marker just so you have an idea. Roughly 3 inches. Something like that. Now you want the dot to have a conical shape to it. So you want to make it look like an egg. That's the side view. All right, so about the size of your thumb. That's what we're looking to do. And what happens is this maintains its integrity because it's the shape of an egg. Egg is one of the strongest things on the planet. So you put a dot of gel up there, even if it gets a little dusty or dirty, it's still going to hold that shape. It won't settle. It works really good. So after you put the gel on there, which is the contact irritant, you want to give the birds a little warning. So we have this UV paint. We have two kinds, one that dries clear, one that dries bright white. It's like a bingo dauber filled with paint. And you simply take the dot of UV paint and you put it in between each dot of gel. And what happens is the birds see the UV paint, which represents a novel object, something to be afraid of, and they don't land on the paint. They always land on the gel, and they learn right away to stay off the paint, off the treated surface. So in this instance, we have kind of a wide area. So you want to make sure that you would come in between here. And again, all the dots should be about 3 inches apart. Excuse my drawing. And then you would just follow up again with the paint. So we also have, like I said, the paint that dries clear. But if you're doing this on top of a surface like this, no one's going to see it anyway. If for some reason you didn't want to see it, you use the clear UV paint. Works just as well. So this is what the pattern should look like. If you do one straight line of paint and UV paint and the gel, you'll get 30 feet of coverage. So imagine doing the zigzag and only getting 10, or doing dots in a row and getting 30. So when you price a job out, you figure out the length of the beams, and you can kind of multiply, and you'll know exactly how much gel you need, how much paint you need. And if you do it this way, you're not going to get birds stuck. The job is going to last a long time. You'll put gel and UV paint on a beam, it'll last for 4 or 5 years. If you do it this way, it's cheap, it's easy. A couple guys on a lift, they could bang a job out in no time. And what we do on top of this is, even though this is really effective, what I also do is I'll take a little of our flock-free tank mix and I'll spray it on afterwards. So if you ever get approached by a huge warehouse facility or a large job and they say, oh, how are you going to get the birds off all these beams up here? Pick 3 or 4 spots where you want to make the birds disappear right away. Do an application like this, and the manager's going to say, hey, the birds left right away. And then they can sort of do a comparison. Oh, if it costs me this much to do this section of the warehouse, I can do these other 3 or 4. And they can price out the job themselves in the head, and you'll get more work out of it. And like I said, you don't want to do this in the sunlight. It has to be covered area or interior. If you put gel on an outdoor surface, metal surface, what happens is the sun beats down on it from here, and then the metal heats up from the bottom, and you end up getting liquid that's going to run all over the place. So covered surfaces, indoor surfaces, great application, easy to do, works every time if you do it like this, and it's no mess, no fuss, and you should not use gel in UV paint. And it's a lot cheaper than using those trays with the gel in them. If you notice, most of those applications require the gel cups to be very close to each other. It's the same exact idea as this. They put gel with the UV in it, put them close so there's no place for the birds to sit, and away you go. That's how you do gel UV paint. Piece of cake.